What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Muscle, and this is another Two Line Music Hut's Entertainment Report podcast. And today we have a really special guest in the building. Listen, this man is a legend off of UK radio. This man is a legend when it comes to sound system business, and he's an entrepreneur. Listen, this man has been everywhere across the globe to play reggae music. You know, we have in the building today, we have Mr. CHRIS Goldfinger in the building today. What's going on, big boss?
What's up, Muscle? Big up to you and the whole crew listening, watching. Big them up. Everybody get big up tonight.
Maximum respect, and thank you so much for joining us on the Entertainment Report podcast today.
No problem. My pleasure, man. The pleasure is all mine. Trust me. Good to see you. I'll be talking to you as well, because I spoke to you off air and I was telling you that I'm a fan of your program as well. So, so it's good to be on it.
That means a lot coming from somebody like you that's done so much in the business, what we're going to discover today. So thank you for even checking out the program also.
Right. No problem.
You understand. All right. So then, on this podcast, we like to go right from the beginning and then bring it right up to 2023. So my first question for you is this. Where did you grow up in Jamaica, and what type of child were you?
I was a disciplined child. I was very academic. Growing up in Jamaica, my first school in Jamaica, it was on Whitehall Avenue, Kingston 8, a school called Swallowfield All Age. And I was living on Whitehall Avenue for a while. Going to school there, went there I was in that school for 3 years because I always skip classes. So I was in grade 2. I started in grade 2, then went to grade 4, then went to grade 6. So that could kind of tell you how academic I was, And I passed my common entrance. I went to a school called Jamaica College.
Okay, hold on. We're almost there. We're not ready for that yet, but we're soon.
Oh, you're not ready for that? You're not ready for high school yet?
No, because that's a big part of the business right there. So, okay, you're growing up. So where did you say you grew up? No?
In Whitehall Avenue. Whitehall Avenue.
And what was the neighborhood like back then growing up?
Yeah, it was rough. It was tough. It was life. You know what I mean? That's life's lesson. Growing up in certain parts of the inner city of Jamaica, that's how you learn the life skills. So that was like a lesson well learned, growing up in the inner city of Kingston. And Whitehall Avenue was the place to be if you want to, you want to learn about life and get to life, and the whole melting pot was in Whitehall Avenue. That's my ends.
Whitehall. And did you have any brothers? Did you grow up with any brothers or sisters back then?
Yeah, I had 4 brothers. I have 4 brothers, and we were all at Whitehall Avenue until we ended up. My parents, they built a house in near Halfway Tree side, a place called Zadie Gardens. I think you had Don Mafia on your program a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about Zadie Gardens. That's why I know Don Mafia. So when I heard him talk about Zadie Gardens, I was like, yo, my ends, my ends get a mention. So my ends getting another mention tonight. So it's man. Zadie Gardens was where I moved from Whitehall Avenue and went to, I built a house in Zadie Gardens. And we still have the house in Zadie Gardens, same way.
To this day. And were you the oldest, youngest, or in between?
No, I'm the third. I'm the middle. I'm the middle one. I have 2 older brothers and 2 younger brothers. So it was 5 of us, 5 of us in the house, 5 boys, no girls.
Wow. And what was it like growing up now? You're in the middle. You have 2 younger, 2 older. You're in the middle. They say sometimes the middle child gets to go do what they're doing and you're kind of forgotten sometimes. What was it like growing up in your house as a middle child?
It's my child. I mean, it was good having your brothers with you. It's there's always a competition in the house. There's always this competition. And, I've got brothers who 2 used to go Calabar. One, I used to go JC. I have another one used to go Arden. Another one go Meadowbrook. So we were all over the place. And I mean, nobody never really wants to stay at the school where the other brothers going. So there's only 2 brothers planned to stay at the one school. But that was my two older brothers. They stayed. They went to Calabar. So I said, nah, man. And Calabar was just across the road from City Gardens. And I said, nah, man, I can't go Calabar, man. I have to go JC. The uniform was an appeal. Because it's blue. Like you can wear blue, well, me unruly sometimes. I hear me wear a blue jeans and a blue shirt, going to school. So it's like I always, that khaki thing never really, I was tired of khaki at that point. When I was going Swallow Field, I thought to myself, you know what, the school wear blue uniform, you know, so you know what, I'll work with a blue uniform and come out to the khaki thing. So that's why I went to JC. But growing up in my household, my brothers and myself, we had to make, you know, had to just make it be as fun as possible. We all play marble, we play gig, we play everything as youth. You know, we do everything together. Until a point where everybody starts spread out now, and you know, the older brothers then start move differently, and everybody find them own path. I had my little friends, them we used, you know, we play scrimmage on the road, football, we call it scrimmage back then. You know, so growing up, it was just a great feeling. It was good having that unity and that brotherly. And even today, we're all close same way. It's like we still have that brotherly love amongst all of us. We always link. There's not a day pass or 2 days pass where we don't call one another and, you know, find out what's happening. Because they're all over the world now. Because my eldest brother is in Florida. And the brother who I follow he's in Trinidad. Okay. I'm here in the UK, and I have 2 younger brothers here in the UK as well. So we're 3 of us in the UK, 1 in Florida, 1 in Trinidad. But we still link. We still have that bond, you know.
From there. And what were your parents into? Or did you grow up with both parents in the household, your mom and your dad?
Yeah, man. Still, mom and dad still together, still, you know, still in the household. Mm-hmm. You know, we get the chance to go visit as much as possible. You know what I mean? So we talk to them almost every day as well. So find out if everything good. Mom and dad still there in Zeta Gardens. It was just, my mother was a nurse and my father's a carpenter. You know, so we were really working class family, you know. We never really to have an eyeglass in the house, you know.
And what did you think you're going to get into? Because you said your dad's a carpenter and mom's a nurse and medical and stuff. Did you think you're going to get into something academic? What do you think you wanted to get into?
You know what? My first job in Jamaica. I mean, I had good friends. You know, as I said, growing up, I had good people around me. I had a very good I still have this very good friend called Dwight Seymour. Mm-hmm. He was the one, we used to hang out with him, and he's very technical minded, and he's a great engineer guy. And he used to work at the Jamaica Conference Center in downtown Kingston. Mm-hmm. And at the time when, you know, me and him flexing, he was quite big down there, know the top guys them. And he put in a word for me and said, you know what? You know, he put in a word for me. I said, come join him down there. So I went down. My first paid employment was working at the Jamaica Conference Center in downtown. I was just just basically a gopher, you know, anything them want me go for it. So, you know, I didn't have that technical brain at the time because, you know, I was just there and I was learning as I was going on and about the technical side, how to set up microphones, and you know, when delegates coming in for there's meetings at the conference center, I have to make sure, set up everybody's microphone. And so it was basically kind of get into the technical side, you know, the engineering side. And that's how I kind of got into this, the sound, because it's all about sounds. So I got into that kind of sound feeling from them times. We're talking about, I was like, 16, 17, okay. You know, just coming out of GSC and, just, you know, trying to find my way. I never really had a set mindset to say, you know, I want to become a doctor, I want to become a lawyer, I want to become a pilot. Never really had that. But I was just kind of feeling my way whilst growing up and thinking, you know, what am I going to do? Until this is where the sound thing came in now. Because I was hanging out with some guys, uptown youths, the Woods, David Wood. Can't forget them guys. You know, we was talking about sound systems and let's start a sound system, because that was like the in thing back then. You know, everybody we love parties, and because we love parties, it's like the next best thing is to have a party sound. So we could get ourselves into these parties. So we built a little sound system called Soul Symphony Disco. Okay. And that was relatively a party sound. It wasn't a sound to go in a sound clash or nothing too big. It was mainly made for house parties, school fetes and things like that. Because the school fete at that time growing up was the thing, and everybody wanted to go into a school fete. So that's where I started the sound system side of CHRIS Goldfinger. It was on a song called Soul Symphony, a relatively uptown party song.
Okay, so it was based more uptown at that time, yeah?
Yeah. It wasn't really a dancehall song. It was more like the Sweet 16 parties. We play at school fetes. So you basically play everything. You play right across the board. It wasn't really a relatively hardcore dancehall sound for playing at some real, inner city, some real ghetto. Whenever really uptown parties, we used to get the lots of booking because the guy who owned the sound system was uptown. He lived in Armour Heights. So he knew a lot of people up them sides, and people knew we had a sound system. So we get a lot of parties. And back then it's like you get a Sweet 16 party, once you do one and people realize how talented you are, you get another one straight away. So we were just basically doing the circuit and doing the uptown parties. And that's how I learned my trade into this music business.
Into music. And what was your role on the song at that time there?
I was just the DJ.
Okay, so you got into DJing at that time there.
Yeah. And that's why I learned my trade as a DJ, because we used to have the sound system up his house, string up downstairs in his basement, and we would just go down there and this is where I start putting on the needle on our turntable and start mixing and learning how to mix and how to do little little scratching and thing on the turntable. So that's how I kind of learned my trade, just apprenticing and just playing in his bedroom and downstairs in this basement and just practicing until we're ready to hit the road. When I was really comfortable to hit the road, then we just said, let's go. And that's it.
From there. And were you listening to any other DJs or songs or anything that you said you like how they play, you want to play like them too?
All right. We were all kind of, I grew up with some party sounds, and I got to, because we're uptown, we're playing uptown, and there's other sounds who are playing uptown as well. So we kind of got to know different songs. If we're not playing out and they're playing out, well, we go to their party. If they're not playing out and we're playing out, they'll come to our party. So that's where I met even VC, Valton.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, Valton used to play a sound system called Legacy. Now, this is where that Valton is a great DJ. When I hear Valton sing, I never know if Valton can sing. When the man tell me, say, him have tunes. That's another story, because this is when I was on Radio 1. When I went to Jamaica on holiday and Valton tell me, say, yo, Chris, what tune why you listen? I said, who do it? He said, me. I said, you DJ? No, man, I sing, man. I said, sing. I said, Valton, you can sing. Yeah, I say, yo, when the man played the track for me, I said, what? It knocked me for 6, man. Never know so Valton of that. Once I heard it, I just knew it was a hit. So I just said to him, you know what? Just do the dub plate same time and let me fly back to England with it. And trust me, when I touched back England, that was it.
Crazy.
First time
because you knew him from then.
Yes, of course. He might get that strength from me as well, because you know what I mean. But even if I didn't know him like how I know him, and him give me that tune there, I just know it was a hit. Once I heard that, yeah. Yo, man, dead. When the man drop it to me, I say, yo, bad tune. So that's the sound system side of, well, I knew Valton before. I said Valton, it's DC matter.
Yeah.
I knew Valton when he used to play a song called Legacy. And then you had another sound system, another uptown sound system called Colossus Disco. So I kind of was around them guys, and these guys are all uptown guys, and them all, we just run the party scene, the school fit and the party scene, and then Squeeze now with Peacemaker, he was the king. Now Squeeze with Peacemaker was he was the party master. So when none of us are play out, everybody have to go Squeeze, because that's where you go there and learn your craft, and everybody just go there and party. That's what if you want, because normally if you set a standard, you want to stick to that standard. So you don't really want to go lower than that. So we always say, these are if I'm not playing out, it's either Legacy, Colossus, Peacemaker. And these are the uptown sounds I'm talking about. And that's when this is how now I kind of changed from the uptown DJ to the dancehall DJ. We're going at the ghettos now. This is now where I was playing on Soul Symphony. We're playing in Soul Symphony, playing on a Soul Symphony dance. And same Dwight who took me who had me working with him at the conference center, he knew some guys from a song called Squad 51. They're from Colville Gardens. Now, Colville Gardens is not too far from Zadie Gardens. It's all on the same Washington Boulevard going down the end, you know what I mean? So I was DJing one night on my sound, Soul Symphony, and I met up with Dwight and this guy who plays Squad 51 called Oney.
Oney, yes, man.
Yeah, and they introduced me to the owner of the sound, Roddy and Cross, and say, yo, the youth, I'm at the bad, bad for the mixing, because I was versed on the mixing and the scratching and the reggae dance, scratching and all that. And they said I should come vibes with them one night. So I said, all right. And they used to keep a New Year's Eve party at Colville Gardens every year. This was like an annual event. Colville Gardens every New Year's Eve. So I went there one New Year's Eve and I played. Mash up the place. Everybody, I say, oh, who that you tell Gray? And it's like, because I was relatively unknown in that circuit. Uptown side, people know me, but like in the, playing in certain areas, nobody don't know who this youth is. But I was just following Squad 51, and that's where me kind of get into the hardcore side of the real hardcore side of dancehall. Because they were the sounds that was going country to play. My sound, Soul Symphony, never used to leave out of Kingston. It was relatively always uptown. So with Squad 51 now, they were like nationwide. They would be all over the place, going into some ghettos, going into some country parts, going on some lawn. And that's why I was like, you know what, I'll go with them, brother, because it was a vibe at the time, everybody up on truck top, truck back, and,
Were they juggling two turntables at this time, or this was more one turntable?
This was two turntables. Jamaica was into the two turntables from an early stage. Squeeze and from back in that everybody. Well, I started out on two turntables. I could never see myself playing on one turntable. So I was a guy who was playing on two turntables, and I was versed on the decks, and so that got me a lot of bookings and a lot of guys calling me to come play on them sound and just that vibe. And with Squad 51 is where I really learned my craft of playing into certain hardcore dancehall. And I was with Squad 51 for a good while until basically Soul Symphony was still playing out. So I was doing the uptown parties with Soul Symphony and then the downtown parties with Squad, so to speak, in areas, downtown parties, but you know what I mean. And that's where I was like learning the two sides, how to entertain, different sides of people, different type, different class, different categories of people. And that's how I learned, and that helped me a lot.
What do you find was the biggest difference with playing like uptown parties versus like downtown or country parties at that time there?
Well, it's just the music. I mean, there's the uptown parties, they love them disco because Jamaica was a lot of that back in the 80s, and all you could probably hear on the radio is mainly disco and soul. So we used to shop for, discos, the disco 12-inch from America. My brother used to fly to Miami and come back with pure 12-inch discos. And, everybody used to play disco. So I used to love playing the hip-hop and the disco back then. But when you go to Squad 51 now, it's not too much of that. That was a different dance. So they were more into the rubber dub thing, the dancehall, real hardcore dancehall. So it wasn't that thing where I'm going to be in there playing, the whole heap of disco and the 12-inch discos. But even though they had it, but it was mainly dancehall, rough, raw band dancehall, sound clash.
So you were clashing on the Squad 51.
Man. Yeah, it was Oney was the man, but when it comes to the mixing, that's my side. And I would
Tell me some of the clashes you remember on Squad 51. Particularly either win, lose, or draw.
I was a baby them time. I remember Inner City. That's one that I know very well. Because we killed them. But they played Lover's Choice. Oh my God, I can't remember some of them song names, boy. It's been so long. Lover's Choice, Inner City. Boy, if one was with me, one would I tell me everybody, because one know everybody. But back then, as I said, I used to go in a lot of sound clashes and kill a lot of sound. Squad 51 was really like into the, cutting dubs. That got me into starting to think, I'm going to start cutting dubs for Squad, for my little uptown sound, because I was in the studios going, like checking out and finding out how this dub plate thing go. And when I went to my brethren them uptown now and said, yo, we need to start cut some dub, Man, I said, what? We don't really want, we're not going to be one of them sound. But listen, no, because basically you don't have to be a clash sound to have dubs. It's just good to know you have a song that can identify your sound and identify the DJs, them, and, the DJs, the artists, bigging you up. It was a good look them time. There was an uptown sound. So we started cutting dubs for Soul Symphony. That's where I got my first Shabba Ranks dub plate.
Okay.
Shabba Ranks, yeah.
Yeah.
I voiced Shabba Ranks for Soul Symphony back then. I voiced Risto Benji, them time Risto and Shabba apart. So you're talking about 80s, early mid-80s. I got Shabba Ranks and Risto Benji, Major Worries. These are the guys I used to just voice and dub plate. I can remember the first dub plate I got from Shabba was $250, Jamaican dollars, not US. Wow. So you mustn't know. Shabba, may not bust up the business, but I have to make it known publicly, all right? Maybe I bring it the way. Yeah, man.
And this was then, jammies where you were cutting a lot of these dubs back then.
Yeah, man. Jammies. So you must know how far where I come from. So I used to cut dubs for Soul Symphony whilst we still cutting dubs for Squad 51. But as I said, my thing was just basically, I wasn't really Soul Symphony wasn't really that type of sound to be cutting multiple dubs. But, just the one and two you can just have as, as a little party where, a party you can play a show. We would just be cutting the dub. We wouldn't be cutting dubs in a sound clash style. Basically, it would be the same dub, but, it's just calling your name. So it wasn't really built as a burial song. We didn't change the lyrics or alter the lyrics for sound clash purpose. But it was just basically just put the name of the same song that you put on 45, and that was a big look for us.
From there, because I know was it around the same time here now where you were doing a couple stints on the radio RJR?
That's right. In Soul Symphony, there was a friend of mine who worked for RJR, Jeffrey Brown. He used to do a radio program on RJR, and with me learning my skill and mastering it, he said, you know what, you need to come in on a Saturday night and come do some mixing. So I used to go in on a Saturday night and mix on his program. Never talk on the show, but just do the mixing. And that was like a good look because I had little radar drops, little radar jingles. So I wouldn't really talk on the microphone, but I would have a jingle would come in and say, DJ Chris, because I wasn't known as Goldfinger them times.
Okay, it wasn't, you didn't get the Goldfinger yet at this time.
No. The Goldfinger came after. Goldfinger came later on. One night playing in Spanish Town to Leng. Leng used to keep a lot of parties. The same ex-police Leng. We used to play for him a lot. In Ensom City. Right? And Soul Symphony went over there and we were playing at a party. And these times sound just string up on the road. Sound string up on the street side and people just party. And that was, them days was just pure niceness. So we used to play a lot in Spanish Town. The sound, Soul Symphony, already it was an uptown sound. And we started get plenty bookings in Spanish Town.
Okay.
And we got a booking from Mitchie, quite a few ex-police officers. Leng would play for Leng in Ensom City, and I was DJing that night. I never forget this because people always ask me this question. Oh, you get the name Goldfinger. And I was just DJing one with the night, and I use the name, DJ Chris. And then I play and start scratch. This time them telling reggae play. But I stop the record and scratch, and then we mix all the reggae with a soul. The version of the reggae playing and the vocal of the soul playing, and they're all in sync, and the place are mash up. And you know, with songs playing and I'm stopping and I'm scratching and I let it go and it's still in sync. And the man must say, yo, brother, you know, normal. And then one guy just come up and say, yo, are you have the Goldfinger? Are you have the Goldfinger? And once he said that, my brethren them start. My brethren them say, yeah, man, I hear a name that no, you know, Goldfinger, your name. I said, yo, we are called so. The man said, no, man, I never forget the guy called Ola Bread. I don't know if he's still alive. I don't know if he's still, if he's watching, make sure big you up for the night. That trust me, that name Goldfinger stick that night when I played in Spanish Town. The man just said, yo, you are the Goldfinger. A Goldfinger is the name. And that was it. From then, Goldfinger my name.
Just like that. So
and
then
that was in Spanish. Yeah. Just that
Spanish
one night. Just that doing that mix that night and scratching and doing all that little excitement on the decks them. The man say, yo, are you a Goldfinger? You have the Goldfinger. And from that, that's it.
It just stuck there. So then your first intro to any radio or anything would have been RJR. You didn't do any radio before that? Were you even looking to do radio or anything? No. Just, I was just loving to play, just loving music, just playing music. And any platform I got, I would just say, you know what, I'm going for it. And when Jeffrey Brown said to me, you know, come in and just come do some mixing on RJR. I said, yeah. Them time Al Plummer, yeah, some guys back in the days, Al Plummer used to do mixes on the radio on a Saturday night. I used to just go in and just do mixes and, you know, and that was it for me. That kind of gave me that kind of, you know, the radio feel. As much as I wasn't a broadcaster, I was just in the studio and seeing how the setup and seeing back then it was carts. Radio jingles was on a thing called cart. It was like a continuous loop. So you just put the cart in and fire it away, drop your jingle and it start. When it finished, it start back again automatic. I used to just play Chris Gold. No, it wasn't Chris Gold. DJ Chris. You know, them little jingles. That's all I used to do on a Saturday night. Just mix and just drop my little jingles. And when the next day, everybody called me. Well, never called me. Never had no cell phone in time. Everybody see me up on the road. I would say, yo, listen, your last night, mad, and everybody. And that's was I kind of start build up my name from this on. The name start kind of, you know, was out there now. And I had the sound system, which my brethren from the Soul Symphony sound system was in my house in Zadie. Okay.
And I took it from my brethren up in Armour Heights and took it down to my house in Zadie. So I had all the records and I set up my bedroom with 2 turntables and mixer and everything. I used to just mess about in my bedroom. I always kept practicing, mixing, finding out which record can go with which reggae can go with which soul, and which disco can go with which reggae. And always I try experiment with sounds, you know, mix because the reggae and the soul mix used to wicked. Now,
for sure,
I practiced it in my bedroom until I made a cassette. I just made a cassette for myself, just practicing and I made a cassette for myself. And back then, people used to be a double deck cassette tapes. You remember that tape, the double deck? We used to just copy cassette to cassette. So I made a cassette for myself, and somebody heard it and said, "Give me a copy." So I had a double deck, a twin deck, and I copied you fast copy it for him, and I gave it to him. And from this, it's like it wasn't. I'll use the term viral, even though viral is more a today term. But
I got you.
The cassette gone viral. Right? The cassette gone viral. Everybody have this cassette. I play it. Man, I pass guys' car. Man, I drive past me. I made my, jingles and everybody play this Chris Goldfinger, DJ Chris cassette until I went into a minibus and I heard the same cassette, the cassette I made for myself, and I just give my brethren a copy. And from this, it just got viral. And then I went into a minibus and heard it. And I said to the driver, yo, we get that cassette from? I was, yo, you want a copy of mine? And I said, so I need that. And the man said, no, man. And you this, man. You can't play music. I said, yeah, man, I DJ Chris, man, man. And man said, you started talking to the DJ, to the driver of the bus. And him said, all right, if for you, make me one. And big me up on it. I said, all right. Dropped my back on my joke. I was on this route, come off and went home. And give me a list of names to big up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Write down him name, write down the doctor name, write down who sit up on the back seat, write down who sit up on the front seat. Now we're talking about these days where bus used to carry loud sound system.
Mm-hmm.
And the bus with the heaviest sound get the most passengers. That's how it used to run. I talk about in the latter part of 80s.
Mm-hmm.
The late 80s, I talk about 1888, 89. Now, them days that there was no regulation about sound or noise abatement act or anything. It was just pure, big, heavyweight sound. So I made a cassette for this bus. And I lay waiting on the boulevard, see the bus I come and flag him down, man, pull up on my jump through, give him the cassette from Deso. The name just gone again because I made a special. It was like a dubplate for the bus.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how the driver the name Boops, the doctor the name Rusty. You can't forget them you there. Then you start the career. Right? And then you have guys on the back seat. You have all a police officer on the pond used to lift on the bus named Too Sweet. Yo, I'm telling you, brethren, we used to just party on the bus because it was just a fun to just get him a brand new cassette. Even soul, you just play a nice, you get your nice cassette with soul music or you get your nice reggae music. And trust me, the bus used to attract a lot of people and people always say, yo, who make that tape? Who? So the driver would say, yo, so the youth make the cassette, man. And the man start, give me orders for cassette. Yo, why make 3 for my bus? And why make 3? Why make 2 for me? One more and give my girl a present. Make a soul CD, not CD, make a soul cassette for my girl. Mm-hmm. We used to just write down the order then until I start charge what. Them time I was doing it for free, but I said, now, man, I get too much now. I'm going to start saying, you know what? Give me $20. And it was like $20. Them time $20 big money, you know, but them people it was like a dog plate for them. So I said, give me $20. And the man said, all right. So trust me, I was making serious money back then. I'm talking about 1988, you know, 1987, because I came to England in 88 for the first time. So it was like about 86, 87. I was making cassettes and just sending them on the road. And everybody want to find out which DJ it is. And everybody want to call me. Then Boops now, the driver for Exterminator, he was like my agent. People would go to him. Because him know where to find me. Sometimes the man drive all the big bus, full of passenger run on my yard, Remember me live off the boulevard, see the guy just off the boulevard. And he would drive all the bus with passengers just to pick up cassette. And he would, yo, man, come around your house. It's all right. Them time they wasn't cell phone, the man have to call up your house phone. House phone to house phone. I come on the house about 1 o'clock. I can't pick up the cassette. Yeah, man, you're ready by then. You have the cassette sitting on waiting. All of a sudden, the big bus pass on. Pick up him cassette and him gone with the passenger bus full of passenger. Man, gone. And everybody used to link him for my cassette. So it would more time when I go link him that evening. He would have said, well, I have an order for 10 cassettes,
And these are, if people don't realize, these are all, if it's 10 cassettes, it's not like you're going to record one and then duplicate it. You have to make 10 different ones.
You have to make 10 different ones. I mean, there was times when you could duplicate, but these were bus drivers. And they would give you the blank cassette and a list to who to big up. Now, this time I wasn't really taught. I wasn't really much of a mic magician at the time. I would just take up the mic and say, oh, big up Rusty, big up Boops the driver, big up all the Exterminator crew, big up all the passengers. And then once I do the intro, that's it. I just music. And maybe at the end of the cassette, I say, yo, well, that's Chris, DJ Chris. Bigging up everybody. Thanks for listening. Blah, blah, blah. And that's it. That was it. Intro and outro, and that's it. I wasn't talking in between the mix. But people love that. And the DJ sounded the bus driver, and everybody used to, Prince Matchup Perry, Pierre Busman used to link me for cassette. So I used to run the route, the whole 48 route, until another sound used to run the Meadowbrook route. Roadstar.
Roadstar, big up Ian and the crew over there. Roadstar.
Yeah, man. Never forget them. The Roadstar, used to run. So we used to kind of have the streets locked. You know what I mean? And this is where I start to kind of build my repertoire. The names start ring up. DJ Chris. Everybody start. Goldfinger start ring up now. And everybody start, get familiarized with the name and start sitting up on the road and see us Goldfinger there. So I was making money with cassette just by making cassettes. I talk about 1986, 87, you have 200 Jamaican dollars in your pocket. That's a whole heap of money that. So, sometimes I have all 400-500 Jamaican dollars in my pocket. I say, I'm rich.
Off of cassette.
My mother off a cassette, just cassettes. You know what I mean? I had loads of cassette, loads of money. I make mere money off a cassette, just making cassette. Until my mother she was living in the States. She moved to the States. So I was still at Z at the time, and my mother moved to the States, working in the States, and she just rang one day and say, yo, you need to, you go to England with your brother. That time I had 2 brothers here already. And she said, oh, Chris, the parents them back then is like them go away, sort themselves out, then them start sending one by one. Big brother gone first, next brother go. She ring and say, your time. It already. Somebody say, yo, never really want to go foreign. I said, nah, man, I'm good or something. I'm all right. Come here, make me look at $20. I make me careful there, So she said, nah, man, you have to lift up, man. That their work to make sure you guys safe and set on yourself. She said, listen, you have to fly. So I said, all right. This was 1988. Fly over England. Now, my brother them was here already. 2 brothers were here. So now I said, all right. I'm gonna leave the sound business. Because she said, this not pay, Sound system thing now work for because to them, when I run up their light bill.
It's not a career. It's nothing that you could do this for a long time.
You cannot, it's not a profession that you can say you're going to become a DJ. That's how in their mind. And then now, man, this DJ thing now go work. Better you lift up. So I say, all right, now let's see what I go on. So I fly out February the 14th, 1988. Valentine's Day, I lift up from Jamaica and came to England. Now, may I tell you what, I come out of the sun. I come out where the sun is 96 degrees in the shade and drop in England in February.
In February, boss.
Where it's -6 in the sun. I say, oh, what is? And when me drop in at the place, first thing as me reach Heathrow Airport, when I walk out, I have a little jacket, you're not really dressed for that. Okay, you're not really gear up feet yet. So I have a little coat, and give me a little jacket for wear up. A thin jacket, like a blazer. And when I come out and pick up my luggage and I walk to, I say, yo, the AC are cool, man. Like me, I say that AC. I said that AC are cool. A man said, I don't AC past. I went at this. I said, what? Imagine when we walk outside, at that time the AC turned up. I said, I want to blow. I'm a can't believe say, yo, this me left Jamaica for. But anyway, I said, I go grin and bear it. So, say, you know what? All right. I go and see if I can fit in. So, I there for a while, there England for a while. My brother know which part of my work. Him say, yo, them always look, vacancies are always there. Applied for a little job. Got it straight away. As I said, I kind of have a little headspace.
Yeah.
So the application it wasn't easy. The interview was easy, and my little CV did kind of look impressive,
Mm-hmm.
Now I start work for the Department of Health and Social Security.
Right away.
DHSS. Sorry?
Right away.
Right away. Yeah, man. Department of Health and Social Security. All right? I started working there straight away. It's like me land of February, and by the March, we start work. By the beginning of March, we start work. Now, I started work and started saving because me know my intentions. I knew what my intention, because I said, no, man, I not stay so. So every little dime me make, every little pound me make, going on a little saving box. I'm just all me I think about is back at Jamaica. So when I call my bridge and I say, yo, Chris, where the man miss you down there? We need everybody a car, ask where there. I said, man, tell him me soon come back, man, come back, man. Don't worry yourself. So all I'm doing is just working and thinking about going back to Jamaica. Because I said, when me leave down there, I feel something could have did survive and I would be all right. Because I'm young and in time, and it's like, yeah, make a little change. You feel say you can buy a house, but you couldn't buy a house. But you don't feel say you were comfortable.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. We can buy a cup of, buy a drink if we want, buy a drink, buy a party if we want, buy a party. Never ask somebody for nothing. So I was just all right. So I was here in England and working, going all out until I save enough to buy a keyboard. Now, before I flew to England, I used to, because I was still up with Soul Symphony and Squad 51, I met up with Stone Love. We powered them and roared them time that. And we all kind of hang out. We all know each other now, and because the Squad 51 kind of introduced me to that side of the dancehall arena. So we get to know We Power and Rory. And them days, they used to have this keyboard. We used to make these sound effects and things. So the first thing we say, when we go to England, we have to buy a keyboard. Because sound effects was the thing on sound system. And I said, I have to get one Soul Symphony and bring it to where I got Squad. Me have the sounds, my little keyboard. So that was the first instrument I bought when I come to England. Work and bought a nice little keyboard. And all me I think about is just the head back of Jamaica. But just 6 months it took me to say, you know what, this is it. Somebody just say, oh, I retire, I resign. So my brother say, yo, we up to? I say, yo, my head back, I say, yo, man. I say, yeah, man, I go back to Jamaica, man. I say, yo, we make up my mind. I say, all right. It's up to you, boss. So I say, all right, I just pack up my little things. That time I buy up little things and little clothes and got me at work. I work because I didn't live. I said, no, man, I can't live. I said, it's not even just about the money, the pounds that we made that make over at the time, because I was making more here than when I was in Jamaica in terms of equivalent of the ratio, of course. But I just, that vibe and the fun vibe and the, I said, nah, man, I miss that. So I said, man, I come living on a freezer. Nah, man, can't do that. And I flew back to Jamaica like in 6 months. Because you know what catch me at Jamaica too? I'll never forget this. The 12th of September, 1988 was Hurricane Gilbert. I was there, so you must know. Remember, me leave the 14th of February, 14th of February, 1988, me leaving, and I was in Jamaica. September the 12th, when Gilbert lick, I was in Jamaica at the time. So I'm done with England. I'm gone on my Hurricane Island now. And it was, I start back with the sound. I want to tell you, so the day when I reached Jamaica, my fly back to Jamaica, Soul Symphony was playing out.
Okay.
And they knew I was coming. It was like, it was built as the return of CHRIS Goldfinger. And I flew in that night, and man picked me up at airport. I never even had chance to put on my suitcase or thing at home. The man got straight to the venue. And it was like, my foot didn't even touch the ground. Man, they lift me up, man. What excitement is like me. I say, yes. It's like, welcome back. It was a welcome party. Playing at the party, mash up the place, feel good. Next day, everybody, CHRIS Goldfinger is back. Booking start coming.
Okay.
Till a phone call coming when we never did one here. One lady call me. And so we are the back of Jamaica. And it's like, dumb. Like me say, no, I couldn't, we can't. She said, no. Head back. But when I flew down, I bought an open ticket, like a 6-month ticket. But then you buy an open ticket, so it's like you can valid for 6 months. That's what I bought when I went to Jamaica in September, in the 88th September. And my mother said, no man, you have to head back, go back to England. You're not staying in Jamaica. Jamaica have nothing for you, and you know it already as a young youth, and how them look on it, them now go see them that class, that generation.
For sure.
Them want the best for you, obviously. But they just thought, nah, this DJing thing, go make it for you. Right? Cause you got good school, and you have, you were in a good job in England, because I heard that you were doing good over there, and next you gone back to Jamaica, run up and down from minibus and
it's like they can't see why you're in the garrison doing all of these stuff here while you have a good education, but you're not following up in a place where you can make some good money. Yeah, man.
Like you waste your talent. But they don't know I build my talent. But anyway, I said, all right. So I stayed there for the 6 months, and I had to go back. When your mother talk, you have to listen. So all right, I'll go back to England. So I had to decide, so you know what? That's it. I'm going back. So I came back, applied for a job straight away. Same government job as well. And I got it, started working, and staying and just settle. As miserable as I was just, you know what, I'm there, just take it. So I was just working 9 to 5, just doing my little 9 to 5, and every day you're thinking about, yo, man, Canada at Jamaica right now, and you go up on the phone and you call your brethren and you can't hear, yo, people, everybody asks for you. I'm like, oh, please don't tell me this. Let me know I hear that. I'm homesick until I was in a party, because people, I made a little name for myself in Jamaica when I was there. Yeah. Not a very big name, but I made a little name. So the name was, 1 or 2 people did hear about CHRIS GOLDFINGER. Because I even hear a guest you had on your show, Richie Poole, big me up.
Okay. Yes.
I heard Richie Poole big me up. And I feel we got Richie Poole. He was one of the pioneers as well back in the days when we started out. Now, when I just forget about sound system now, and I'm just a regular Mr. Christopher, and I was just going to work at daytime, coming home at evening time, going work, going home, going work, going home. And I've never really want party, coming in another mood. And over here, the party scene is totally different.
Okay.
All right. And I went to a friend of mine was on tour over here, Clement Irie. I know him from Whitehall. A DJ called Clement Irie. He was here on tour. At them time, the Clement Irie, I locked the place. I want to name Bonner and things that tear up England. And I was with me and Clement roll out and go to this club. And Rodigan was DJing there. Now, I didn't know Rodigan at the time. I've never met him personally, but it was shocking what he said to me that night when I met him. When I went to this club with Clement Irie, and Rodigan come over and say, well, I want Clement, and excitement, exchange pleasantries and thing, and Clement said, oh, meet my virgin CHRIS GOLDFINGER, and Rodigan was like, CHRIS GOLDFINGER. I say, yeah. He said, the CHRIS GOLDFINGER. I say, what is what, man? I say, what you mean the CHRIS GOLDFINGER like you hear about me? I never really realized some of the name reach over them side. Well, reach over them side. Just there white Avenue and see it again. Reach. So I say, yeah, you know what, CHRIS? He say, yeah. I always listen to you. You used to be on RJ. I say, oh yeah. I'm like, me then all forgot.
Yes.
The man said, yeah. Yo, man, I hear lots about you, man. I hear lots. I say, yeah. Then he said to me, oh, what are you doing here? Like me, I said, John, I came to him up on tour. I just say, I was there. He said, are you doing radio? You doing radio or anything? I said, no. I said, no, I'm just here, I'm just fitting in, He said to me, oh, I'd love you to be a part of what I'm doing on my station. I said, what? Radio?
Just like that.
Just like that. The man said, how would you like to, sit in for me when I'm away? I said, what? I said, yeah, man. Yes, of course. I said, yeah, of course. But I'm not really excited, but man, I said, yeah, if I have the time,
Yeah, I'll check it out and see what.
Yeah, yeah. Me check the schedule, Trust me. When the man put that to me, and it's like, what? I still go up on the radio to play some music. What me love. I said, all right. He took my number, and him said, all right, whenever I'm going away, because it's like him did know me from the radio. And him know my potential from then, which I was surprised that he did. So when Rodigan used to fly out, they used to call me, and I used to sit in for Rodigan on him reggae show on a Sunday. And that's where I got my first taste of, music in England and, reggae playing on a radio station. It was Kiss
and
FM.
he was on Kiss at that time there, yeah?
He was on Kiss FM at the time. And I used to deputize for him when he head out. So that's where I kind of felt the vibe. I say, you know what, yeah, man, more and get back into this music thing. Now I met some guys, just by, going out regular kind of on the road, meet up with, my radio show going to start. I'm going to pause this. Yeah, I met with some guys here, and they were building a sound system at the time. Wasn't on the road yet, but one of the owners came from Connecticut, and he was here at his family out here in the UK, and some other guys were here from the UK, and I met a couple of them, and they were telling me about this sound, because they were like, Chris Goldfinger, yeah, man, never Squad 51 cassette, Virgin it, but are you near Goldfinger? I said, yeah, man. So they had cassettes over here, and them days is like you go Brixton, this is man, I sell cassette and them thing. We look Squad 51 cassette. I said, whoa. I'm not kind of say, yo, I mean that, I was now, man, stop your eyes, man. Hey, who are you? I said,
Nobody ever seems to believe you when you tell them, yo, it's me. It's me.
Yeah, man.
Nobody believes you.
They don't want to believe. But anyway, then until one of the guys them say, yo, Chris Goldfinger for tune over here. And then him say, yo, we're build a sound. We look for a DJ. So I say, yeah? So yeah, man. So I said, so what the sound name? Him say, well, Asha International. We'll call it Asha International. So I said, okay. Now, where I lived in England when I first came out, where I lived not too far from me was the guy who bought the sound over here. That's where he lives. So we said, let's link up and we go over to this guy's house and we can look on him equipment them and thing. So I said, all right, one day we'll meet up. I'll head up on the guys, the guy who owned the sound, went up to his house. Went inside and I saw 2 turntable mixer, the whole works. I said, yo, a sound like this and it not established. He said, no, man, I just bring it from America because most of the plug them is like 110 volts. I know England are 240. I said, yo. Yeah, so you have to have converters and all them things. I said, but you guys bought the sound from America to here. But anyway, tell you how me playing that mix in the house. I'm just dying to get my hand on 2 turntable and start mix and scratch. And the man must say, yo, man, bad. Anyway, I never forget this. When I was mixing, I was like pulling down the pitch control to make the mix. And a man said, no, enough to move them. Them things enough to move. Them things enough to stay on the green light. I said, big man. Let me do my thing, man. And you just listen. You just listen and enjoy. Yeah, man. I showed the man about going, Daddy, we have mixed something until we say, you know what? That sound I need to go up on the road. Sound, big sound. I say, yo, we're ready for the road. I mean, dying to touch road as well. Anyway, he started to, go there and try to make yourself known to some promoters. Man, and say, nah, star, them rather stick with obviously with who them know. Because obviously you're in this to make money. You don't really want to go put no sound where nobody know up on your flyers and end up flop your dance. So everybody was hiring the sound which are known at the time. So we were struggling to get ourselves known. Even though I had a name, it's like nobody know me. So we said, you know what? If nobody now hire we, the next best thing to do is keep our own parties and just go on. Because back then it wasn't going into a nightclub and hiring a nightclub to keep a party. You just want to have a house. A blues dance.
Yes.
I don't know if you have that over your side where man just
of course
find a little empty house, kick off the front door.
And I ate that.
And
that's it.
There. Yes, man. And if no light now in the bridge light and send it in there, that's how we find venues. And we just build some black bin bag and black out the windows them. And it was a dance hall. And we used to keep a little parties there. More times we invite a few little guests. And it's like 10 away in the place. And that's it for the night. Because there's other sounds playing out down the road or up the road. And them have the whole of the crowd. So we were just struggling with our little sound. I play out every, weekend. We try to keep a little party until people start here. And, one time we have about 20 people in the dance. So we say, yo, we'll dance rum. And then next week, the following week, we keep another party. They turn 40 people. So it's like the word start get out. And Casonia bad, So people used to start come to our dances, even though most of the other parties were really packed. But our dances, we could see the potential. People could see the potential of the song. So we used to have we just had a little hardcore following the song. Everywhere we played, them used to just roll. Because they were like saying, this sound of the Stone Love in England. So we had that vibe and the talk and the mix and the, but back then it's like most songs were playing with one turntable.
Okay.
So when I came and I said, no, I can't play with one turntable, boss. None of that fun that. Because people would call me to guest up here on them sound, like come juggle some tune on my sound. And when we say, I bring my record, and when we look at one turntable, so I say, how would that work? I said, we can't do that. Can't play on one turntable. Because that's more like back then you had like the Saxon and the Coxsons, and they used to carry their DJs. The MC,
it was a rub-a-dub style for the one.
It was more like a rub-a-dub style where a man would put on a record and play the A side, and then the DJ would say, yo, Ince comes, participation too, and man flip over to, and then the DJ them come on and do them thing and lock down the place. My thing wasn't that. My thing was more of a juggling thing. So even when the sound start pick up and build a name, DJs used to come to us, like, and singers used to say, yo, we can't follow the sound and sing on the sound at night time and thing. Because even one of the guys who was playing the song with me, Junior Chin, he's a singer. He's a big singer. And he would sing on Coxsone and all the big sounds them as well. But he was the one who introduced me to the Asha International at the time. So he was a big singer. Back then, we never even wanted him to sing on the song because we weren't going in that direction. We just want to be a sound where, But he had all permission, he had all rights if he want to sing because, But him realized the direction that we're going in is just as a party sound.
As a party sound.
Juggling sound. A Stone Love type sound. Now, the song was going. The sound started to make a huge name. And I was still sitting in for Rodigan when him fly out. Okay. Until this was it. The sound just blew up. That the other sounds we used to have the crowd, them crowd just start diminish. Everybody start follow Asha World. Asha International. It never reached Asha World yet.
It was still Asha International when it got its break. It was Asha International.
Right. And it was at one point when I said, we all had a meeting and we just decided to change the name because it's like most sounds was Saxon International, Coxsone International, Asha International. Listen now, man, this international thing, everybody are now. It's like back in the 70s, everything was hi-fi.
Hi-fi or high power.
Yeah, high power. It's like, nah, man, them thing they're outdated, man. So I said, drop this international thing, right? Because you have Coxsone International, you have Saxon International, you have V-Rocket International, you have all these international sounds. And they were international sounds. We not reach international status yet to even put our international power name. So we say, change the name. And because I came from Jamaica and Doug, who owned the sound system, the equipment, he came from Connecticut. And then Junior Chin and the rest of the guys were from, all the way from England, based in England. We just say it's a world movement. So the Asha World Movements came about. So, Asha World Movements. Till we start play out with the name Asha World Movements and the sound that blow up. Until when I want to realize a million women follow the sound. Till them call it Asha World a Girl Movement.
Yes, that's how I remember. I remember hearing Asha World, yes, and then I heard Asha World a Girl Movement.
Yeah, a million girls start follow the sound. I know whenever the girl them, they know what happened. The man never got dead. So we had parties where it was roadblock after roadblock. 7 nights a week we had play out. 7 nights a week. And we were just locking down the place. Everywhere, Brixton, everywhere, north, south, east, and west. We had play out.
Is it because you guys came with this new type of style of juggling opposed to the one turntable?
It's the new style of juggling that did it. It's a new style of juggling. And, we now walk with a bag of DJs, like, Mike Chan, like I'm talking about. That had its crowd. That had its niche. And everybody want to go that. Anybody want to hear that, they know where to go. But my sound, you're coming to hear party tune. I hear everything. I hear soul, you hear disco, you hear dancehall, you hear calypso. You get a full menu. So that's a party sound to me. So I bought that kind of Soul Symphony vibe with a little mix of Squad 51 here. So it was a dancehall sound, yes, but the girls them want to hear them Afrique style, Jagabee style, Rory style. Them love that. And Rory was not just a dancehall DJ. Jagabee was just never a dancehall DJ. Them man they play right across the board. And at that, I bring to them, I'm saying, what, we're not going to be stigmatized, as a dancehall sound, but be a sound clash and like a coxswain, so every time you see coxswain with another sound, it's a clash dance. You never see coxswain playing one up to like a party, like you don't really see them sound, they're playing a regular, just a normal party, a house party. It's always big dance, big clash, big sound. So I said, we're going down the route where we'll cut dubs, we still have cut dubs, but we're not gonna go down the route as a killing sound where just a cut beer dub for kill people. No, we want to be a party sound.
Because you're still coming with the same Soul Symphony way of thinking, where you're cutting the dubs, but you're not killing. It's more like station identification.
That's right. Exactly. And I said, we don't want to go down the route where, because once you start down that route, that's it. Once you start as a clash sound, every booking you get is a clash sound, is a clash dance. I never really want to get it away there, because I say, I don't want to be stigmatized as like, every time a man book me, it have to be a war dance. So nobody now go book for a little house party or a little 21st birthday party. Nobody now will call you for that. The man checks in armor. Because you don't really hear certain songs playing at them type of parties. Unless I for them daughter one or them son one. But them don't really get bookings for that. Me, I get bookings right cross. So that's why I used to play out every night. Every club want me. Every night club used to call me. Yo, we want to get a residency. We doing on a Monday night. I said, now I'm a book out Monday nights. We doing on a Friday. Now, definitely you can't get Friday. Saturday even worse. Sunday's worse. You can't get them night there. All right, Tuesday night. All right, take Tuesday. And we anywhere we play. Even though when a man said, boy, people really go up on a Tuesday. Once read upon it, it right at work. So we used to play out 7 nights and everywhere used to ram. Until one night I was playing in a place called Steppers Wine Bar. Now that's in Brixton, heart of Brixton. I used to do Steppers on a Wednesday night. And when I was playing in Steppers Wine Bar one Wednesday, I used to see this white guy behind me. Every Wednesday night I play it. This white man stand up behind me. And him just a look. I remember when I play laptop them time, then I record where I play. So it's not like him can look over and see the name of the record. Him have to touch me. I say, what's the name of that song? I wonder who this brother is. Because back then it's like when and dance, I say a white man, a police. And where I said, but when me see my flex, I said, this brother can't police. Then I asked what the name of the song. I said, what's the name of that song you just played a while ago? I'm like, but I said, you know, Mad Snake Cobra, you know, Yosh, Jackie Chan, press up. And he would be just, and I jot down the music. And I said, anyway, in my heart, you never really make it better. I juggle and I do my thing. Until when he move off, now I touch a little and I say, yo, who that brother there? And man, I say, oh, Tim Westwood, man. Never really hear about Tim Westwood. And he was like, Tim Westwood, man, hip hop DJ, man. And I say, okay, cool. Party finished now, everybody I head out, but I pack up my record them and Westwood come over and say, yo, Chris, man, love how you play, man. Hello, Westwood the name, Yankee voice. Yo, dog, I love how you play, man. Yeah, I say, yeah, man, respect. And the man said, you know, I do a show on Capital. Oh, this man up on Capital FM, you know.
This is a big station at that time there.
These are proper legal stations. Back then, it's like, you know, if we get a look in, it must be a pirate station. So that's why deputizing for Rodigan at the time was a big look for me. For go up on a legal radio station. When Westwood said the same thing, Westwood said, yo, I do a show on a Friday night. I want you to come and give me like a 15-minute mix. Like dancehall. So I say, yeah, all right, just let me know when. That's all right. Exchange numbers. Say, yo, more you come in. So he'd call me and say, yo, more you come in. Like, you know, on the 27th of January, you're free that night. I say, yeah, man, no worries, me did it, man. So that Friday night, man, I shot going on our Capital, and I just go in, put on my deck with music and just mix 15 minutes worth of mixing. No talking, just mix. But he would be the one introducing me and bigging me up as CHRIS Goldfinger, and I do my mix. And that kind of got me out there again, kind of send the name out again to a few more, you know, few more people.
And the trick with it, remember, you said he's a hip hop DJ, so this is introducing you to a new market, right?
Different audience. Right, that's right. I got introduced to a brand new audience. And then it's like everything just a fall in place. The play out them are coming like crazy. We are make money. We are fly go Jamaica regular cut dubs. We're just doing and we not have a clash for cut dubs. We just have cut dubs. And we not cut dubs with clash. We just cut dubs with just, you know, as we said, part of our purpose, our main, just our purpose. And anyway, the song's getting good. All of a sudden, the song just start get too big. Till, you know what happened when them said too many cooks. It was just the guy who owned the sound, other guys, members of the sound, me, everybody just start clash because it's like the sound I get too big. And certain bookings is like people know me as the main person. So they would come to me for bookings and, you know, or you stay up on the 21st of December. Yeah, I'm free. Yeah, man, we're good. Then next minute, I go to the man and I say, yo, we get a booking for the 21st. Then the man said, no, we get a booking for that already. You get booking for that already? So come you not see nothing? Oh, no, I'm a big mother assistant. I say, yo, can't work, so. And it's like it just clash every minute. It's the same thing. Clashes like one man just take the booking. It's like, you know, and it just everybody just start get to it just got chaotic.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden though, me say the sound get thief. I was in Jamaica. and I get a call. But it's a Chris, them teep the sound. Yeah. I said, what? No, I had a whole heap of bookings, you know. And I'm in Jamaica cutting dubs. And the man called me, said them teeth the sound. So I said, all right, cool. It wasn't my sound. So, not saying that I didn't care, but it's like, if I feel it was just politics. I don't think nobody teeth the sound, but that was another story, which you never were going at. But the man said them teeth the sound. So it's all right. I had all the records, which was the main ingredients. The main ingredients for the soup pot was the records.
For sure.
Once I have the records, I'm good. Right? So once they're not teeth the record, because when we used to play out and the man them have the sound of the truck and everybody will go home, record box, me will juggle, me will lift out that out of the truck. And that's going into my yard. And when them teeth the sound, equipment box, everything gone. But the record them, I had it. And I say, you know what? Promoters would phone me. I said, Chris, what go on? Me, you say them teeth the sound. I say, yeah. And now this is people who book me and pay me deposit already, you know. So I'm thinking, bro, I'm going to run back them money there because but not a sound. And back then, everybody, when you're playing out, you have to have your sound.
For sure.
And right, everybody used to play, every sound had their sound. Now, one promoter I ring up and said to him, say, yo, you know, see them teeth for sound. Him say, eh. So what happened then? Say, yo, I'm going to run back your money, you know. And the one say, all right, here we are. Don't run back the money. May I get that sound for your play upon? Because him just want that dance to go ahead. And him now make a sound much up in business. You know what I mean? Him now make a stolen sound much up in business. So the man say, yo, make a hire a sound for your play upon. I say, all right, cool. Never had to refund the money, but the man just hire a sound. And me just bring my record him alone, going at the dance and start play. Till other promoters say, yo, this can't work. Because you had sounds who weren't really playing out. But they had a nice sound system. So this is like their way of, you know, getting them sound out of them garage. So the man used to just hire sounds to play upon. So certain sounds, the man would just string up them sound and I just bring my record and play upon them sound. And that was it. That just bring in that new vibe where DJs don't have to bring sound anymore. Until it start get to certain sound. Yeah, everybody just one sound and DJs just bring them record. Because it did cause a bad vibe at one point, because when I used to just bring my sound at the dance and play upon them sound, and when the dance done, all me just pack up my little record box and now my brother and my brother, them just lift up the record box and we're gone. Them left with the big heavy box and amps and it's not like powered speaker like what them have now. It's like about full sound system. And the man used to cuss. And the man must say, yo, finger just come out of the place and just play 2 tunes and gone and fee money different. And fee money more than so they think they used to cause a vibe. Because like we couldn't make the man them know how much me I play for. Because the man them a cuss and I say, yeah man. But some sound start say, yo, no man can't play upon my sound. So you find certain sounds you just say, them no want no sound man can't play upon my sound. So you find, so we had to designate a sound for me. So this song was like my sound, a sound called Super Click.
Okay.
Right? It was my sound. Anytime I play out, I'm going to call Tigo and say, where go country, where go so, where go so, where go so. Him have him own bookings, you know, but him still can send out a sound. That the man, they love sound system and he had a lot of equipment and stuff. I'm just saying, you know what, where go so, where go. And that was like my sound where I didn't need a sound until now. Mr. England turned away to nowhere. Everybody just bring record now, going a dance. One sound string up because it work out cheaper for the promoter too.
For everybody, you don't need to have 5 songs, 5 song system, 5-man playing.
The venue,
too much.
To be honest, things started to change in the 90s where the venues were getting smaller. And it wasn't venues where you can string up 5 songs like one time. We weren't getting the banqueting hall or the banqueting suites, or we weren't getting those big arenas like we used to get back then. No, the venues them getting small. Police them are locked down the venues them. So they're getting smaller and smaller. So you can't bring 5 sound in a little place. So you find set 1 sound and you can still have everybody's name on the flyer as if they're performing, which they are performing. So that kind of bring that element to it where we just have to just bring my records and that just take off from this away. You don't need a sound system for play out.
So you helped introduce the 2 turntables, and then now you started to help introduce and now just have a song and all of us will play one song.
Yes, just bringing records to a dance. That was new back then because every sound had to have their sound system, or else you're not a sound. You couldn't just buy a record and say you're a sound system back then. Nobody now look for you. You have to have a sound system. And if you didn't have a sound system, you're not a sound. So that side of it where I started just bringing records to dances, to parties, and the sound string up already. That kind of like take off from then. Early 90s, we're talking. No. Can we step up now? Radio 1. Right? Radio 1. I just want you to sit back and listen. Right? This is now where Westwood left Capital and joined Radio 1. Now, this is the biggest radio station in the world in terms of spectrum, instead of the demography, the geography, how far and wide this radio station can go. Radio 1 is the station. Now, Westwood joined that radio station and was blowing up the place. Westwood had mashed the place. And I was, where did you see it? Westwood called me one day. Called me one evening and say, yo, Chris, you know, really want to look for a reggae. They're looking to do a reggae show. They're looking to pilot a reggae show. Would you be interested? I was like, what? Now this is, I was only doing Rodigan when him fly out. And that was it. And radio. I used to do a little thing on a pirate station as well, like Lightning FM, Vibes FM. I used to do a little show on them. You know, sometimes I just want a little feel of the radio station vibes. But I was always told back then, it's like them say, yo, Chris, you have to be careful working under them stations and pirate stations and all. Because if the police find where you are, they're gonna raid and they're gonna take away everything. All your record them and everything. I mean, I say, yo, so that kind of got me scared. Even though as much as I love the vibes and I love the Lightning FM, me kind of like half in, half out. Like every time you hear the door knock, it's like, who that? Yo, who that? My favorite man on a lookout and all them things. I never want to lose my record. And my record, it was like, you know what I mean? I'm alive.
That's the gold. The records are the gold.
Yes. So, yeah, of course. It keep me going. It took me to where I am now. But when they took the sound as a record and bring me a song. So I did the pirate, but was scared. I was kind of like, yo, I want another way out. Can't see myself doing the pirate forever. So when Westwood said to me, Chris, really want to do a pilot show for a dancehall show and a reggae show. Would you be interested? I said, yeah, of course. Okay, I said, yo, I'm going to put your name forward. So I said, all right, wicked. But he explained to me, it has to be a 1 hour show. Now, this show has to have me intro, speaking, talking maybe the middle of the show and at the end. But they just want to hear the music and the type of selection and the way you put your music together. That's what they're listening out for, because he told me exactly how to structure it. And I'm thinking, all right. And he said the bosses for Radio 1 would be, it's going to be played, and it's going to be in a panel. A panel of judges is going to be like listening to this. So, and it's going to be like 4, and he named the guys who are going to be listening. Now you're talking about the Radio 1 BBC executives are listening to this, you know. So I had that in the back of my mind. And he said to me, also another thing Westwood said, the clarity, make sure you have to come across clean in terms of the quality of the thing. Because if it come through and it's a crack, and like some old time cassette where it hiss, it said, yo, you need to have your quality up. So here what you do. Here what I'm gonna do for you. I'm gonna book Radio 1 studio. Now I've never been to Radio 1 before, you know. Him say, I'm going to book the studio and you're going to come up there and do your show. So you'll have the cleanest quality. And it's a wicked. So one evening, him call me, come up a Radio 1. We drive up a Radio 1, go into the studio, mesmerized by the studio and the size and the setup. Say, yo, the man set up the CD. Was it CD? It wasn't even CD, it was records. Set up the turntable them. I said, all right, Chris, this is the clock. Count down. We'll just do a 60-minute more. Just give them CHRIS Goldfinger. Said, all right, cool. Boom. Yo, this CHRIS Goldfinger. I'm start with it. This is my 60-minute mixtape. Around there, I got some boom, and I put on the first track. Westwood see his son say, yeah. Then all of a sudden, I'm kind of, because I started a little juggling. And then we kind of slow it down a little bit. Start play some, Dennis Brown, Revolution, mix it with Barrington Levy, Here I Come. And I did that little juggling because all I'm thinking about is the panel who will be listening to this. And I'm thinking, you know what? More on them feel, more on them a rock. So it's like I put on a couple Bob Marley, One Love, Three Little Birds. And all of them play and I go on good enough, come here and mix them bad enough. Mix them, blend them, I go on wicked. I'm a feel say, yes, this I go on good. I'm about 48 minutes, I go 50 minutes into the show. And I go on good. Cause my feel, like you're playing and you feel say, yes, that mix them mad. Them I gonna love that mix there. I mean, I mix and I go on and I mix and I go on. And Westwood just say, yo, Chris, stop that, man. I say, what? Man, son, you this one. I say, what you mean I don't need this? You say, thing I go on good. The man said, nah, man. But now I feel this. No, Westwood is a DJ. Westwood is a DJ. Him not really in the one drop reggae music.
Okay.
Westwood not really in that. Westwood love the hype. The fast pace. Now, that me play when me then at clubs and the clubs in England. Them back then, them play. But I am thinking, I'm trying to impress the people that want to listen. Right? I try to impress the man who want to listen. Them white collar man who sit down and them will say, oh yeah, I know this. One Love, yeah. I know this, yeah. Baby, it's a wild world, Maxi Priest, yeah, I know this. And I just, them me have in my head, when I play it, when I do my 1 hour, And what's to say, now, man, Chris, I feel this. The man said, this on you. The man said, listen, we're going to start over. I say, yo, start over again. The man said, yeah, man, we'll start it over back. Just do you, man. Do like Steppers and Maxims and Trends and all these nightclubs where you play. I said, but that crowd, they're different. The man said, just do that crowd then. And all when I do it to them, I said, all right. I'm going to start. And when I start juggling, man. I said, all when I juggle, I go on good, what I said. Hey man, you're going to listen to this. I said, what the hell is this? Because the thing about it, I know who I was, to be honest, even though I didn't know at the time, but afterwards, I knew who I was up against.
Okay.
Right? And there were some big names, who are big today. Still big today. Some very big reggae DJs were when I went up against. And I know them and their broadcasters, not me. Me a sound man. But them and they were broadcasters then times. And when them and they play, me know them and they structure them thing. And them now play like how I play. Because me I juggle for them. But these guys are older than me, bigger than me, and been in the business more longer than me. So me I say, yo, them man they must get it because them are gonna play the right songs. And I'm thinking that them songs when me I play, them man they got them white man they will listen to this. They will say, yo, what is? How kind of mumbo jumbo this? But anyway, I did the 1 hour show, and I say, all right. Westwood say, yeah, man, this is it, man, this is it. And I went to say, this is it, and I say, yeah, man. I say, and man, look work gone. Look how me have the people. Even to myself, look how me have the job a while ago. The man just take the job from me, again. But anyway, I just said, you know what? Whatever must be, must be. Etc. etc. I say, you know what? Me done all right. They're already I'm thing up. So if me get it, me get it. If me not get it, me not get it. Anyway, it happened. It was about in December time. My fly got Jamaica for British Link Up. As I was doing this British Link Up dance at Jamaica. I remember going on for British Link Up. And the morning of British Link Up, my phone rang. And I hear my old man say, Chris, long distance call for you now. I say, oh, good. Boom, I'm say, yo, it was Westwood. Westwood say, yo, Chris, man. I say, yo, what go on? So I couldn't wait until I can't wait for you I couldn't wait until you come back. I forget the good news from now. Once the man said that, I said, blow, the man said, you got the job. I mean, I say, yo, oh, me get that. The man say, yo, the people, them love it. I mean, I said, what them, I wonder if I Rasta want to listen to this. I mean, I said, the man, them love it. The man say, yo, Chris, they were talking about you there. I mean, I said, blows and stuff. So then, I say, you know what? That's it. I said, all right, once we fly back, because him tell me, I'm going to start like in a June or so. It was about April when he rang me. And I'm going to start in like June. So I said, all right. So I cut my dub them, fly back to England, gear up myself. Radio 1 me depend now, you know. Now it was a 1-year contract. Okay. So I said, what? He says, yeah, it's just a 1-year rolling contract. I said, oh, the blow. This is a 1 year me depend it for. He said, yeah, but you know, them can renew or them can just terminate. But just 1 year. And then he was like on a contract as well, a rolling contract. So I said, okay. I never really understand.
Standard. Seems like it's standard radio business.
Okay. But then I don't know how it worked. Man tell me something upon a 1-year contract. I said, what are out of this? Anyway, I said, all right, if it's 1 year, I'm gonna make the best of this 1 year. Now, when I started the reggae dancehall show on Radio 1, I mean, I'll lie you, Westwood was doing a hip hop, and it's guy called Trevor Nelson was doing the soul, the R&B, and then you had drum and bass. So we were like specialist DJs. You had mainstream DJs that would play everything, and you had specialist DJ which would stay on them drum. Now, I was the dancehall DJ, and every Saturday night. Now I'm bringing people to Radio 1 now who would never normally listen to Radio 1. Because Radio 1 never really cater for our sort. Radio 1 was always seen as this mainstream, commercialized radio station that the certain people, class of people listen to. Not my class. So when I joined, I bring the whole thugs to start listening to Radio 1. And trust me, the show went from strength to strength because remember, this show now, you know, is the only show that was going out across the whole entire United Kingdom and Europe. Okay. Right? Now, you could be driving from Brixton to Wales to Northern Ireland to Scotland. You're just listening to the same show. You don't have to change and your thing cut out and you fade away. Right? So this station was running the whole. So I had that show on a Saturday night locked. When we say lock. That one, when the 1 year was coming up to an end, I mean, I checked so well. That's it. Next minute, Westwood said, oh, Chris, they're extending it. You're another year. I mean, I said, well, all right, cool. And they have graphs where they would show you your audience figures. All these things they would have. It would tell you how many people listening from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock and how many people lock off from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And this is how they have all these things on graph. And they would tell you, oh, Chris, people are listening. More people. When I start my show at 12 o'clock, you know, they would say people listening from 12 o'clock, your peak gone right up until like 12, 12:30, 12:40. And then it drop a little. So what are you doing at this point? And I saw them work out the demographics, you know. I said, well, that's when I slow it down. Maybe that's when because I cannot do a radio show and do 2 hours of what we call now chopping. I cannot do 2 hours worth of hardcore dancer. I have to have my reggae segment.
For sure.
Even today, I do my reggae show. I do my dancehall show today. And I have to, it's a 2 hour show I do right now. And 1 hour is dedicated to the grimy side of dancehall, the hardcore side. He said the second half has to be dedicated to the one drop because people like your Richie Stevens and Sanchez who have this brand new tune out, Double So Much Troubles, them tune I have to play on my radio show. I cannot be playing Pierre, Tommy Lee and Valiant and Coyote and Cartel and just playing beer that for the 2 hours. My show has to be balanced where I have to have my one drop, my Sizzler them and my Lucianos and all that have to play in my segment. So even at Radio 1, when I joined Radio 1, I said to them, so listen, dancehall is not just this bag up, high tempo jump up thing, But I listen to one drop too. So I brought that to them and say, oh, this is how I want my show to be structured. And once with Radio 1, them always say, you know what, Chris? We leave it in your hands. This is your show. You know what's best. So you're kind of educating us. So you do, you. Whatever you said, right. So they won't come to me and say, oh, Chris, you're playing too much one drop. Because them don't even business. Them don't even know when you one drop. I could play anything on the radio. Right? Now, this is where I had this radio show running for how many years? 13 years I've had this show going for.
Mm-hmm.
Yes? From 1996 to 2009. 13 years I've been in this show for. Right? And this show, up to this day, is still the flagship of Radio 1. Everybody still, even to stay, even my bookings that I'm getting today, people still talking about that era of dancehall.
Because I remember you got the 90s and you got the 2000s too. So you got a great mix of everything.
The best time of dancehall. And the thing is with being on Radio 1,
mm-hmm.
I mean, up to this day, nobody's replaced me. Nobody's replaced me on Radio 1. They've built one extra though, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
They've built one extra off of the strength of Radio 1. When they realized how popular my show was, how popular Westwood show was, how popular Trevor Nelson, Fabio and Groove Rider, and all them guys, how popular these black shows were, they said they have to. Because they cannot just take my show off the radio, take Westwood off the radio, and then don't give us something.
Mm-hmm.
They have to give us something. Because we're paying, this radio station is run by taxpayers' money, remember. This is not they don't have to play advert. They don't play adverts.
Oh, they don't?
Right?
That I didn't know.
No. BBC don't play adverts. BBC television, no radio, don't play adverts.
Okay.
It's licensed payers' money run that.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to cater for every license fee payer.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to give black people their thing, the Asian community their thing. So they have BBC Asia, they have BBC One Extra, which is like a black music specialist, mm-hmm. which is good. But Radio 1, which is the mother station, they're not replace it. They're not replace the show them. But One Extra, a lot of people still happy with the One Extra. One Extra is like a radio, is an internet station.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You only can pick them up on a DAB. If you have just the FM radio in your car, you can't pick them up.
Okay.
So that me kind of look as saying, you know what, they should. Not saying me. I had my time and I enjoyed my ride.
Mm-hmm.
But they should have a dancehall show back on Radio 1. Because that was the best
mother station
of dancehall. Yeah. That's the mother station.
So even with thing there, because remember, you spent 13 years on this national radio here, all right? Crazy moments. I remember, because there's a couple of names of artists that I want to say to you, and then you're going to tell me what you remember when you met them. Somebody like Vibes Cartel. Do you remember the first time Vibes Cartel came to the station there?
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. We still think about it. Every artist
mm-hmm.
that comes to the UK has to come through my show. Every promoter that's bringing a sound system or an artist to the UK have to come on my show. Because if you're keeping a party, when artists come to the UK now, they don't just do London. Obviously, they do Birmingham, Manchester, Nottingham, the areas. My show covers all of them places at the same time. So it's not like they come now and I only can mention the London dance because the show is only covering London. Anywhere in England, the United Kingdom, these guys are playing. The show is being broadcast. That's why I used to play out so often everywhere. Even today, like last week, I was Nottingham and I was in Nottingham and after Nottingham, Leicester. And these are still of the strength of not just Asha World, but Radio 1. Because you still go and people still want to take pictures, people still want autograph, and people say, yo, you know what carry me through a prison sentence? You know, some of the 10 years and you carry me through my whole sentence. And them things that make me feel like, say, yo, you're worth.
For sure.
You have worth. Trust me, people tell me, say, yo, you carry me through the whole of my sentence. I say, yo, man, that's the strength of Radio 1. Because if you're in prison, you can't pick them up. You can go anywhere, anywhere, and pick up Radio 1. And that's the strength. No. And back then, the greatest thing with me being on Radio 1 back then was like going to a playlist meeting. I used to go play, and this is how I was shown how it works. Like there was a playlist meeting like every Tuesday, like 10 o'clock in the afternoon, in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, we'd go to a playlist meeting. Now, what you do with a playlist meeting, you bring your record that you think should break the mainstream market, or the mainstream DJs should play. And I used to go to them little playlist meetings and bring my little tunes them because I never used to go. I used to just, that's not my thing. All right, the nice for me there. I just had no set, them tune a lot my show. Then I realized that, you know what? I need to start going on to this playlist meeting. Westwood said, Chris, bring some of them tune of a playlist meeting. And them explain to me what it is all about. And I'm thinking, you know what? All right. And I remember bringing Elephant Man, Sean Paul, Wayne Wonder, Kevin Little. I remember walking into playlist meeting with tracks like that and saying, yo, and they say, oh, Chris, what you got? What you got? And I say, yo, I have a track by an artist called Elephant Man, And them say, yeah, okay, all right. Have you got it? Let's hear it. I'm gonna go up there, my little record on the turntable. Yep, good to go. I feel no that. Yo, let me see the man them start go so. Yeah, this is live. This is good. This sounds good. Then they would say, all right. Now you had A-list, B-list, C-list. Now C-list, obviously, C-list, they would, if you go up on the C-list, is a big achievement. But that would mean that maybe it plays maybe once for the day, maybe twice for the day. If you go up on the B-list, it maybe play 4 times, 5 times for the day. If you go up on the A-list, every DJ have to play it. And that me fight for. It was like my thing to fight for that. Because when them take it and say, oh, this Elephant, this sounds good, man. Where's he from? And I say, yeah, man, Kingston, man. I tune a lot on the dance hall. Trust me. He's gonna blow, man. And they were like, yeah, he's got this buzz, man. I love this. And they say, all right, put it on the B list. I'm gonna say, all right, any list then put it on is like an achievement for me. As long as it just jump on my show. Yeah. You know what I mean? Me didn't really want, that was my thing. My thing was to kind of push this thing to go up on mainstream, get daytime play. And trust me, when you hear it playing at the daytime, if me a drive and I listen to Radio 1, I'm here like a daytime mainstream DJ I played Elephant Man, It was like, yo, me a call, man. Yo, listen to Radio, turn on, put on Radio 1. And then me all like Elephant up there. And I say, yo, because it wasn't the norm for dancehall play during the daytime on Radio 1. That station don't have it have to be a specialist like myself to play that. So when you hear tunes like them, they'll play. Sean Paul, Give Me the Light. You say, yo. And once them take off, say gone. Yeah, man. Once it take off. There's only few artists where we never have to bring in. Some artists just bust because a mainstream DJ might hear it and say, yo, Chris, have you got this? I say, yeah, man, I have it long time. So why didn't you bring it to the playlist, me? I mean, I say, yo, that gone long, that international artist you talk about. The man international already. Shaggy, bombastic. That was like a internationally, even before me even have to bring that to them. So it's like, that to me was like my little achievement, you know, get this on the playlist. I bring tracks and it never work. Obviously, you know, you'll bring tracks and it's, it's a bit too slow. What is he saying? And you know, little things like that. And kind of say, all right. But listen to one of them. Oh, yeah. This one is, yeah, man. Because them love the up tempo and that kind of party vibe. Yeah, man. Wayne Wonder, no letting go. It's like, yo, this beat's, I say everything on it bad. Everything on this rhythm is bad. And when we play the rest of them, all of them say, everything on it bad. And so we go playlist meeting and make sure say, them tune are off a bus, them tune are off a play at their time. And that to me was my satisfaction of being on Radio 1, to get music playlisted. You see me? I mean, not blow my own trumpet, but I have to say, that was, I felt good knowing that I could hear a dancehall song played on BBC Radio 1 in the daytime. You know what I mean? So that was my,
because remember,
on Radio 1.
You're in a situation where you're now covering the whole of the UK with this type of music here. So if you could get it on the main station, not even the main station, the main time, you know you did your job. You know what I mean? 12 o'clock in the day or 9 o'clock at night, I knew that I helped to break that record.
That's right. The only thing is that it kind of did backfire at one point because things change, where I was getting all this music clearly listed and they're playing during the daytime, and it's like me, I say, yeah, we feel good. Till one day, the boss called me and say, oh, Chris, want to have a meeting, you know? I say, all right, yeah, man, no problem. Going to the boss office, boss sit down and say, oh, have a seat, man. I sit down and I say, what is our contract must be done, you know? But man say, Chris, you've been playing this song, we playlisted this song, and it's really creating a vibe. It's creating a big buzz on the streets. Every nightclub, every club you play this in, the place goes crazy. Yeah, man. So I say, yeah, that's a good thing that. So yeah. But what is a chichi? I say, it's a chichi. Oh. You know, in Jamaica, we have this thing we call duckans. It's like a termite over. We call it termite over here. Live in the, eat board, rotten wood. They live in the ceiling in Jamaica. We call them duckans. That's what we call chichi. So he said, oh. I say, yeah, man. Chichi, man. The duckans, man, termite. Live in a eat board. He said, oh, that's it. So I said, that's it? He said, yeah. I just wanted to cover something. So I said, I said, okay, cool. But once he said that to me, I know where it's going. So I said, all right, cool. But make my wiggle my way out. Wiggle my way out until they are playing. TOK did from there party that chichi man. Yeah. All them tune them I play on Radio 1, And then Elephant Man, log on step on chichi man, log on. And one of them tune the playlist did it up. Remember them I get them tune the playlist during the daytime, Right, Jim? The man that called back in our meeting. The tune they run for about another 2 weeks. And the man then called back in the meeting again. I said, Chris, remember that termite you talk about? He said, yeah. The chichi. He said, yeah. We're getting a lot of complaints. So I said, complaints about what? He said, they said that the term chichi is a homophobic term. I said, nah, man. Well, I'm going to let me I said, nah, man. They probably get it wrong, man. He said, well, Chris, to be honest, it's kind of creating a little bad vibe, you know what I mean? So I feel set we should pull the plug on that because people are saying it's an homophobic term and, you know, it's the gay community and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I said, all right, may I pull it. So let me find out what they mean. Maybe I go call the artist and find out. But I go like me, I eat that. I call him and find out. Because it's just step on a chichi, man. And, you know, man, when they're mood. Anyway. But then until they have to pull the plug on that. But so once it got to that point, we realized, say, you know what? Them people, they are lag on. You see me? Them people, they are lag on. So I had to kind of like start to edit a lot of the songs because I was the DJ who could play any song on the radio, any song. Just name it.
Yeah.
I'm going to play it. Yeah. As raw as I don't play edited versions of any song.
On the radio.
Right? On the national radio station. Remember, you know, BBC is not funded by commercials. So it's not like, man, I go say, yo, man, I go pull the plug on my product because it's not like my product. Look, they don't business about people's product. They're not advertising sales, not relevant to BBC. Now, them said to me, say, Chris, play any song you want to play. All right. The only song, all right, Chichi came up, which I have to cut that out. And the F word.
Yeah.
In the swear word, that are cut out. Because the hip hop start to kind of use it regular. The hip hop start use it now, it start watered on art, reggae artists start sing, start DJ it again now. So it's like that Westwood got, you know, yo, pull the plug on the F word. I had to pull the plug on the F word. But you say everything else, P-hole, BBC, not British Broadcasting Corporation, not talking about. But Mr. BBC, right?
Yeah.
Any bad word, anything, P-hole, anything goes. Because and that's the thing about the strength of my show was the authenticity of it. It was just authentic, hardcore. Not too derogatory, you know. But trust me, I didn't have to water down the show. And because it came on at 12 o'clock. And the thing is, once I put out my disclaimer before the show starts, where I'd say, this show will contain language which you might find offensive, which might, and I got an artist to do it. I can't remember. I got an artist to do the jingles for me. And him say, and the thing about it, how the artists do it, you know, him said, this show, who did I get? I got Baby Sham to do it for me. And he would say, like, this show will contain language which you might find offensive. You might hear some bumbuck. You might hear some another so into the jingle, you know. And if it's not your flavor, switch off and come back after few. Busy Signal did it. As I remember, come back after few. Right, because my show finished at 2 o'clock. And that's what Busy Signal say. If you don't like it, come back after a few, which meant come back after 2. So once I put that on, I'm putting my disclaimer to make them know, say, yo, if you don't like the swear word, so once I put that on, that's it. I'm just good to go. And that's what the people them love about my show. It wasn't watered down. I was on Pirate Station. I'm Pirate, the owner for the Pirate Station. I said, no, you can't play no swear. Don't play no swear words. And this is Pirates we're talking about. We're not regulated. Right? And we just had to say, all right, yeah, right. We stick to this guideline. Which by right, you should have a guideline. Yes. But with Radio 1, the guideline I had was just me just playing it as raw as ever. You know what I mean? I can play Lady Saw if the man left. I know.
The raw version.
The raw version. The raw. I don't play edited songs. And that's what the strength of my show. That was it. It's like you know, one dance hall. Man tell me say them I get dressed for go club at 12 o'clock and cannot leave them car And sometimes them say them car pull up outside the venue. And the one of the man then just lean up on the car and listen. He says 2 o'clock comes and the show done. Lock the car, them can go into the club now. That's all the man used to have my show. My show was like the starter for the night.
Because it's a Saturday night, it's coming on then and everything.
That's right. That's right.
So even would you say when they called you into the meeting, how long was it after that they let you go off of the radio station? Was it like a couple years or 2 years? How far was it?
Couple years, because when did Log On? Log On came out about what, 2002, 2003? I think, Log On. Log On, around them time, I'll have to Google it. But Log On, it was about 3 years after.
Mm-hmm.
About 3 years after.
Do you think that was part of the whole reason why they don't have reggae and dancehall on the main station, because things really started to change and people really started to voice their opinion?
Could be. Mm-hmm. Could be, because things did start to change. Because that even when I was on Radio 1, there's certain artists who couldn't come to the UK who people would want to see. Back then, when they banned Beenie Man, them banned Sizzler and them said, this man have to apologize, and all that kind of just kind of through just through a spanner of the whole works, where them people, they just have so much power that they can dictate to say who should come in and who's offending them. And once you offend me, you can't come in my place. It's like that's how they look at things, and I think the whole ball game changed from then for sure. So I don't know if that's the reason. I don't think that's the reason why they don't have it on Radio 1 anymore. I don't think so, because DJs, we can go around that. Mm-hmm. If they don't want it and it's going to offend, well, we just don't offend. Simple. Mm-hmm. I mean, them have 1 extra now, and I'm sure, to be honest, I don't know the guidelines for 1 extra. I don't know what they can play and what they can't play, but it's just sad that people can just come and dictate that if you don't like, I don't like it, so we don't want to hear it, ban it. And some of the songs are, I don't know. I think the ball game changed from that, because that kind of did create a big uproar where, clubs weren't allowing artists to come in. The artists weren't getting visas to come in, and then you have to go through all this stigma of applying for work permit. They want him to a certain name. Nope, he's not allowed in the UK. So, and that's it. Everything just start changed. The whole game just changed, because that was definitely a dampener for the business, for the music, for our music.
For sure, because if this is getting back to the boss and stuff, they know clearly something is happening here, and they're going to have to make a move here.
Yeah. This was after Boom Bye Bye, where they found out what Buju meant when he said Boom Bye Bye, them boy the head. When they found out what he meant, obviously it must be somebody who know the game explain to them. I say, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know what Chris play? Step on Chichi man, step on we. And it's like, then I say, what's that? It's like, if she says step on us, kill us.
No man, it's termites. I know it's termites. I don't know anything else.
I just say it's termites, but the man and say, no, it's not termites. They probably ring back radio and I said, when my boss looked on him, I said, no, he's saying it's termites, it's duck ants. They have in Jamaica duck ants. No, it's not duck ants, it's us. He wants to kill all of us. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I saw it go, man.
So you did the time at extra. This was until 2009. So even when was it beginning of the year or the end of 2009 that you stopped being on?
It was September 2009.
September. Leading up to that, now, did you think your contract was going to get renewed? You weren't thinking about it at this time. What do you think was going to happen when it came back to renew again?
I knew from about the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. I knew from about February that the contract would not be renewed in September. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they said this is when they were making One Extra. And they said, all right, they want me move over to One Extra.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's still under the BBC umbrella, because BBC is doing great things with who's on BBC now, like the Shawnee Bees and the I don't even know if Toddler T still there, but they're still doing things with them and spending the taxpayers' money with them, sending them all over the world to cover, shows and do live broadcasts from Jamaica, live broadcasts from all these concerts, which I used to do back then. But obviously I came up, it wasn't the internet era.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things that I did, you didn't even really see it on the internet. It was all just cassettes and DAT machines and, a man coming in video camera. Now everything you do, you just have your phone and you're gone viral.
Right.
Imagine if I was what I had then, I didn't know. It would be
crazy.
Different. Trust me, you wouldn't hear about nobody else.
Mm-hmm. So then now,
with One Extra now, they asked me to go over to One Extra to do some shows. Now, what I kind of like found as, I wouldn't even say a disrespect, but something which I just thought, nah, this is not, this is like belittling me. It's like, nah, this not, they're not rate me.
Mm-hmm.
They had me on Radio 1 for 13 years. Yeah. I mean, I did the biggest reggae dancehall show this side of the Caribbean. Yeah. Now they've stopped Radio 1 and they've built this brand new radio station for Black people, which them say the home of Black music.
Mm-hmm. Now
they said, Chris, come over to One Extra, come do a show. So I said, all right. It's a little step down, but I don't know. I'm not far step. It's still under the umbrella. Still not get wet. So they said they want me to do a Thursday night from 2 till 4. Mm-hmm. In the morning, Right? All right. Cool. Now the prime time Radio 1, the 12 to a prime time, All right. To go into do 2 o'clock in the morning till 4. All right, cool. We said to them, all right, man. All right, me do it. Come and say at the end of the day, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning, but it was a Thursday, which I don't like, it's a Saturday night. If it was Saturday night 2 till 4, I wouldn't do it. Couldn't do it because I play out most weekends. And so they want me to 2 till 4 Thursday morning going into Friday. Yeah. All right. But guess what the part where me said, no, man. Mm-hmm. Me do one, maybe two shows me do. I'm just saying, I want to have a good time. The man them want me come on. Rubber Ranks was on the radio then. I don't think Shawnee B wasn't there. I don't think Shawnee B was there yet. Mm-hmm. Rubber Ranks was on the radio. And then you have a guy named Young Lion.
Yes.
Right? He came on after. So Rubber Ranks was like 10 to 12. Young Lion came on 12 to 2. Mm. And then I'm supposed to come on 2 to 4. Right? Rubber Ranks I play dancehall, reggae music. Young Lion I play dancehall, reggae music. Mm-hmm. And then me must come on at 2 o'clock in the morning to play dancehall, reggae music. So I said to them, yo, where do you get this from? Mm-hmm. How must I come on at 2 o'clock in the morning and play music that 2 DJs before me I play the same genre, the same style, the same everything? There is not much that I can play. Listen, I play a dub plate, 2 hours of a dub. And I said, how is that going to work? And this new man will take over One Extra, which is a clown, said to me, oh, we want Thursday nights to be our dancehall night. So that means a Thursday right throughout the, well, I don't know if it's throughout the day, but from a certain time, say from 8 o'clock, you want Thursday night to be dancehall night. That means that every DJ will come on a dancehall them all play. Oh, you work that out. Say I try to tell me say dancehall can't play on a Friday. Dancehall can't play on a Saturday. All them come with that. They want Thursday night to specifically be a dancehall night. So from this, I'm just saying, man, I can't come on 2 o'clock in the morning. There's nothing more for me to play after Rubber Ranks play, a Young Lion play. Then one left for me to play. Unless I go play some Stanley and the Turbines on some different type of music.
But so why would they finger? Why would they take you off? You're on the big station. You're doing from 12 to 2. So then why would they figure now, and you're doing exceptionally well. So why would they figure they're going to put you 2 to 4 on a station that it's a different station where it's more internet based? Why would they decide that's a good decision for somebody like that?
I know. For a man like me who set up a pace and bring an audience to this station that they had to build. They had to build a station because of the strength of my show. They had to build the station. So I just thought that, nah, man, that's like a kick in the teeth. Me just say, nah, I can't do that. I can't do it. Can't do it. So that was then. That was that. I just say, you know what?
And then when you think so your next move after that was to On Top Radio, or you were just chilling for a bit?
I was all right. Right after Radio 1, I decided, you know what? I kind of get up in an age and thing and kind of did all right certain way, but I said, what the next move me gonna make? And so, you know what? Instead of me driving up and down to all these clubs, playing in people's clubs, making club man make money, why am I not open my own club? That's when I decided to go into the club business and open a nightclub.
Taboo.
Yes. It was called The Club first before them close it down, and then I renamed it Taboo Lounge. Even, you know, it was, we had a good time. We had a very good time there. The lease ran out, because you know, everything, every little club you have in every little spot we find for ourselves, them come and tell us that them all turn it in a development, them all build a house, them all, everybody going into this property market now. So they closed the club to build flats. And I'll know. But it's still, that was the little time, that little period. After that period, no, to be honest, is when I had the club. I got approached by One Extra, who said, yo, Chris, you know what I mean? You want to come to the station? And I was like, radio station. I had a good little time, and I was thinking, I'm take a break, man. And he said, no, man. And then I said, you know what? This is like another platform, and it's just another stepping stone. I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to do it. So I had the club at the time, and I used to just stay inside the club, because they said everything is different now, because I was explaining them, show me how it worked now, where you don't have to go in a little man's house and go in a bedroom and, you know, they string up the thing. It's like them days are done. Them so those pirate days are done. You can stay in your own house and they give you the stream link and all that. And I said, oh, things change. They say, yeah, man, things change. Because I'm my old dinosaur, you know. So they said, no, man, I don't like what time when you have to sneak in a man bedroom and turn on the light. You have to talk low because you can't make too much noise let the neighbors and call police. It's like you can do it from the comfort of your own home. So I said, okay. So when they approached me, I said, you can do it. They just give me the streaming link and I just log on and do the radio show. I was going, and strength of that just kept going, and people start listening again and say, oh, well, we miss you on Radio 1, but we're glad we can find you. All right. And now One Extra, On Top FM have them own app. So you can download the app from the app store and listen to the station right through. And it's going good. And on the strength of that, other stations start to see me and say, Chris, me have a show on One, I keep saying One Extra. You have a show on Top. What you know, me have a little station, you know, me have a little station. You want to be a DJ from the station? Because everybody want a piece of Chris Goldfinger now, you know. Because they know where I come from, but they know the caliber of DJ where, you know what I mean, they know. So everybody start check me. Chris, remember station, remember internet, because internet stations start kick off. Everybody have an internet station start blow up. So everybody check me. Chris, come do a little show for me. Come do a guest appearance. Come do this. So I just said, you know what? You want me to do a show for you? I will do a show. But I'm going to do a one show and I'm going to send it out. And once them hear that, if they want a piece of me, that's where you're going to have to get peace. I'm not doing individual shows for individual stations. I'll do one show. And that show gets sent out.
You know what that reminds me of? When you were making the cassettes for all the buses and stuff, this is what it came back to now, you know, but on a radio station level, you know.
Yes. Because I'm on 27 radio stations right now. 27. I'm in Australia. I'm in Zimbabwe. I'm in Gambia. I'm in Kingston. I'm in New York. I'm in Grenada. The rest of them is over here. Yeah, man. So
crazy. And then when does your main show air?
On Top. To be honest, On Top is like everything works from around On Top. So On Top airs like now. Every Thursday between 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. is on Top FM. And all the shows are posted up on soundcloud.com. So you can go on SoundCloud and all the shows. I post all my radio shows on soundcloud.com. So once you go up on soundcloud.com, just type in Chris Goldfinger. All my radio shows are there. You can see it. First half is the hardcore dancehall. Second half is one drop reggae music. And that's it.
And then I know you also have your soul show also.
I have my soul show on a Sunday. Yes. You know, I love my soul from Soul Symphony. Yeah, I have the soul show. Trust me. And that's on 5 stations around the globe. Now, the soul show, everybody is talking about that because that's different. That's a show where you have to come from that era to understand them soul. Because people, the crowd that I have, the audience that I have listening to that, I don't even think them know my reggae show. Them love it. The people in Florida, people all over send me messages, loving it, man. Just go on SoundCloud. All the shows are posted. The soul show is there, and the dancehall show is there. But this is what I'm doing. I just doing what I'm doing, and I love what I'm doing.
And that's what it comes down to. You have to love what you do. Like, okay, listen. We've had this conversation now. We've been here now over 2 hours, okay? I want to say this is the intro for you to come on the platform here because there's still more in-depth stuff. We didn't talk about the clashes. We didn't talk about the interviews. We didn't talk about none of that, you know. But this right here is a good introduction so people could really realize who Chris Goldfinger is, what he's done for the business, and what he's still doing in the business. You see, next time we sit down and talk, that's where we're going to go into the depths of certain things.
Yes. The Asha World versus Saxon and the Asha World versus Saxon and
the Asha World in Canada World Clash in '94, all of those stuff there.
All right, you remember them days there?
Of course I do.
Yeah, man, those are the good old days. As I said, I played my part. Still playing it, but I've done a lot, and I'm enjoying it. That's the greatest thing. Is that I'm still enjoying it from making cassettes in my bedroom to now sitting in my studio at home. I've enjoyed it, man. It's a long journey. I'm looking forward to, carrying on,
Definitely. And if they want to check you out on like social media, Instagram, anywhere, just to keep up with you, leave some contact info there also.
Well, I'm on Facebook. The thing is, I'm on Facebook with Chris Goldfinger and Goldfinger Chris, because I didn't realize that once you get to 5,000 followers, you can't add no more. I didn't know that until I should have opened a different account. But back then, as I say, internet thing wasn't that frivolous as it is now. So you find that I started with this Facebook page as Chris Goldfinger. Got to oh, sorry. I got to 5,000 followers and I had to open another page as Goldfinger Chris. Oh, that one got to another 5,000, but without open no more. That's it. But I'm on Instagram. Everything is just Chris Goldfinger. Instagram Chris Goldfinger, Facebook Chris Goldfinger, and Goldfinger Chris. So yeah, if you just type in Chris Goldfinger on Instagram, you can follow me. Twitter, the same thing, Chris Goldfinger. Nobody not take the name of that. I have to end up or change it up to Chris Goldfinger 123 or Chris Goldfinger _, dancehall master and all that. Nah. Just Chris Goldfinger. Yeah. Even though there's another Chris Goldfinger around it. So
no, for sure. But the originals, and you're the original, so you got to get everything first: the Instagrams, the Twitters, the Facebooks, and all of those stuff there.
That's right.
Mr. Goldfinger, thank you so much for sitting down and doing this, so we get to see stuff through your eyes, your journey, the way how you became Mr. Chris Goldfinger that we know today. Thank you for sitting down with us today.
It's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure sitting with you, Muscle. Trust me. Big up yourself. And as I said, I said it to you off here last time we spoke a couple of days ago. I'm a fan of the show. So big up the Entertainment Report podcast. Big up.
That really means a lot. Can't wait to sit down again with you, and then we go into the depth of the depths.
All right.
But in the meantime, you guys take this in. Let me give you an outro and get you out there. Because this conversation, wicked conversation, boss. All right?
Bless up, everybody. Bless up.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Muscle, and this has been another Two Line Music Cuts Entertainment Report podcast, and we are out for now. Just for now.
This podcast is brought to you by www.twolinedmusichut.com.